The fluorescent lights of the hospital ward hummed, a cruel counterpoint to the frantic beat of Sarah's heart. Her younger sister, Emily, lay pale and still, a fragile bird caught in the fierce grip of a rare, aggressive illness. Doctors spoke in hushed tones of experimental treatments and closely guarded secrets, words that offered both a sliver of hope and a chasm of despair. Sarah felt the weight of an impossible choice pressing down on her. Every option seemed to lead to more heartbreak, yet inaction meant certain loss. She clutched Emily's small, warm hand, a silent promise echoing in the sterile air. "I will save you." This wasn't just about Emily's life. It was about the overwhelming sense of helplessness when the medical system, despite its advancements, hit its limits. Sarah carried a quiet desperation, a fierce love for Emily that fueled her every move. You could almost feel the tremor in her voice, the faint tremble in her hands, as she grappled with the sheer injustice of it all. If you've ever fought for someone you love, you'll understand Sarah's struggle. This isn't just Sarah's story. It's a window into the human spirit's extraordinary capacity to endure. Imagine knocking on every door, only to find the ultimate solution behind one that seems utterly unyielding. Sarah's desperate search for Emily's cure led her to Ethan Vance, the enigmatic CEO of Evergreen Biotech. His company was renowned for its groundbreaking, yet fiercely proprietary, drug called Serenity, rumored to be a miracle for ailments like Emily's. This medication was Emily's last, desperate hope, but Ethan was a man shrouded in mystery, driven by ambition, and protected by an almost impenetrable wall of skepticism. Sarah spent weeks trying to reach him, her pleas lost in a sea of corporate gatekeepers. Each rejection was a punch to the gut, but Emily's fading smile fueled her resolve. She learned that Ethan, despite his reclusive nature, occasionally frequented an exclusive, high-end dance club in the city, a place where power mingled with indulgence. One Tuesday night, dressed in her best, yet utterly out of place, Sarah walked into the pulsating lights and throbbing bass of the vault. She spotted him easily, tall, dark, and utterly unapproachable, a stark contrast to the vibrant chaos around him. Overwhelmed by fear and fueled by a love that transcended all dignity, Sarah approached him. In a moment of raw, unbearable desperation, with the music a deafening roar in her ears, she knelt before him. Her voice, though barely a whisper against the club's din, was sharp with an agony that cut through the noise. "Mr. Vance," she pleaded, tears blurring the flashing lights, "my sister is dying. I know about Serenity. Please, I'll do anything. I'll sell myself for the night for $50,000. Just please help Emily." The words hung in the air, a stark, humiliating offering. Ethan's eyes, cold and assessing, bore into hers. He didn't flinch, didn't react with shock or disgust, but with a chillingly detached evaluation. He didn't take her up on her offer in the way she expected. Instead, a flicker of something unreadable crossed his face, perhaps surprise at her profound desperation, or a recognition of a will as unyielding as his own. "Get up," he commanded, his voice surprisingly quiet. "I don't need your money. I need dedication, resilience. If you want my help, you will become my personal assistant, bound by a contract that places your life at my disposal. No complaints, no questions. Your entire focus will be on my demands." Sarah's initial reaction was a mix of shock and revulsion. How could someone demand such a thing when a life hung in the balance? The humiliation of her offer, the raw indignity of his counter-demand, warred with a desperate hope for Emily's survival. The conflict within her was palpable. The grim understanding that she had made an impossible choice settled over her. She was no longer just a desperate sister. She was a survivor making a bargain with the devil. What would you give up for the one person you can't live without? Just as Sarah felt she'd hit rock bottom, a brief, almost imperceptible flashback to Ethan's own past flashed across his usually impassive face, a fleeting image of a younger, softer Ethan standing over a small grave, a moment of profound personal loss. It hinted at the origins of his hardened exterior, subtly suggesting that there was more to him than met the eye, making the audience question their initial judgment. This wasn't just a cold CEO. This was a man shaped by his own ghosts. But the path to serenity was far from smooth, and Sarah soon discovered that Ethan's world was as complex and unforgiving as his demands. Sometimes, the people you thought would stand by you are the first to fall away, leaving you to forge new, unexpected connections. Sarah's new reality working for Ethan was a suffocating blend of exhaustion and constant scrutiny. Her days were a blur of managing his demanding schedule, handling sensitive documents, and enduring his often silent, piercing gaze. She became a ghost in his opulent mansion, a shadow dedicated solely to Emily's survival. Her past, however, refused to stay buried. Mark, her ex-boyfriend, an aspiring journalist with more enthusiasm than sense, somehow caught wind of Sarah's new, peculiar employment. He genuinely wanted to help, but his idea of assistance was to expose Evergreen Biotech's controversial practices and Ethan's reclusive nature, unknowingly jeopardizing Sarah's already fragile agreement. He believed he was doing the right thing, fighting for the underdog, but his actions were reckless. Sarah was forced to make another painful decision. She cut ties with Mark, explaining that his interference put Emily's life at risk. The abandonment she felt was profound but necessary. It isolated her further, leaving her with only the stark reality of her bargain. Then, a new complication arose, chilling her to the bone. Abigail, Ethan's long-presumed deceased fiancée, unexpectedly reappeared after a year-long coma. Abigail, a woman of striking beauty and chilling manipulation, immediately perceived Sarah as a threat. Her initial warmth towards Ethan quickly curdled into a possessive jealousy aimed squarely at Sarah. Abigail subtly began a campaign to undermine Sarah, whispering doubts to Ethan, questioning Sarah's loyalty, and subtly sabotaging Sarah's limited access to Emily's medical updates and the crucial Serenity dosage. She went so far as to engineer a situation at an exclusive, high-stakes charity gala, attempting to push Sarah into a truly compromising and humiliating public display, a cruel echo of Sarah's desperate act at the club. Sarah felt trapped, caught between Abigail's schemes and Ethan's enigmatic demeanor. There was a constant undercurrent of anxiety, a terrifying knowledge that one wrong move could cost Emily her life. Yet, in moments of quiet reflection, a spark of resilience ignited within her. She was learning to fight back, not just for Emily, but for her own shattered dignity. In your darkest moments, who truly stands by you? Adding to the unease, Sarah started receiving anonymous, seemingly random messages, cryptic warnings and strange hints that subtly echoed her current struggles. Trust no shadows, one read. The gilded cage has many locks, another whispered. They made her, and the audience, question who her real allies were and if there was a deeper conspiracy at play, creating a haunting sense of intrigue. But Sarah was not one to be easily broken, and her journalistic instincts, long dormant, began to awaken, leading her to uncover a darkness far greater than any personal vendetta. Even in the face of overwhelming power, one voice can shatter the silence of injustice. As a seasoned investigative journalist before Emily's illness, Sarah's sharp eye and unwavering sense of justice were reignited by a chilling discovery. While sifting through a forgotten file in Ethan's office, a seemingly innocuous land deed, she stumbled upon evidence linking a powerful real estate mogul, Victor Thorne, to a horrific forced eviction and subsequent cover-up that resulted in the deaths of an entire family. The injustice of it sent a cold shiver down her spine. Her investigation put her in direct conflict with Thorne, a ruthless man with far-reaching connections, infamous for crushing anyone who stood in his way. As Sarah bravely exposed Thorne's crimes through anonymous leaks to a former colleague, she found herself in increasing danger. Threats arrived, subtle at first, a slashed tire, a warning note, then escalating to direct intimidation. Surprisingly, it was Ethan who, despite their complicated arrangement, repeatedly stepped in to protect her. His actions were subtle at first, a timely anonymous tip about a surveillance van outside her apartment, a sudden increase in security personnel around his mansion whenever she was there. But then, they became overtly protective. Once, during a covert meeting Sarah had arranged with a whistleblower, Thorne's enforcers ambushed them. Just as Sarah thought it was over, a black SUV screeched to a halt, and Ethan himself emerged, his face grim, his presence commanding, scattering the thugs without a word. Sarah's fear shifted to righteous anger for Thorne's victims. The journalist in her took over, fueled by a desire for justice beyond her personal ordeal. She felt a burgeoning sense of trust and confusion towards Ethan. Why was he protecting her? Was it genuine concern, or just a calculated move? Meanwhile, the puzzle pieces of Abigail's true nature began to fall into place. Sarah noticed discrepancies in Emily's medication schedule, subtle shifts in dosage that made no medical sense. Digging deeper, she uncovered Abigail's deeper, more insidious plot. It wasn't just jealousy. Abigail was deliberately using Emily's critical condition and manipulating the Serenity drug trials to gain full control over Ethan's company and vast fortune. She was even directly withholding crucial medication from Emily, gambling with a child's life to secure her own power. The betrayal by Abigail cut deep, adding another layer of pain to Sarah's already arduous journey. Despite the danger, there was a quiet strength emerging in Sarah, a fierce determination to see justice served for others, not just for Emily. When faced with injustice, how loud will your voice be? In a brief, telling moment, we cut to Ethan's point of view during one of his protective interventions. His internal conflict was evident. A flash of fury at Thorne's cruelty, a flicker of concern for Sarah's safety, and the heavy burden of a past trauma that tied him to the development of Serenity and his protective instincts. It humanized him further and deepened the mystery of their evolving relationship. The truth, once exposed, shattered illusions, forcing Ethan to confront his own demons and make a choice that would define his future and Sarah's. True connection blossoms not from convenience, but from shared trials and the courage to see beyond appearances. The revelations about Abigail's manipulative nature and her cruel exploitation of Emily's illness forced Ethan to confront a painful truth about his fiancée. The woman he thought he knew was a monster, willing to sacrifice an innocent child for greed. Devastated by Abigail's calculated deception and recognizing her deep-seated malevolence, he made the difficult but necessary decision to sever all ties with her, both personally and professionally. This moment marked a profound shift in his character, a shedding of his emotional armor. The cold, unfeeling CEO began to thaw, revealing the wounded man beneath. In the wake of this turmoil, Ethan finally confessed his growing feelings for Sarah, acknowledging that what began as a transactional agreement in the desperate confines of a club had evolved into something far deeper and more meaningful. He admitted his initial skepticism had given way to respect, then admiration, and finally, love. "You showed me what true courage is," he confessed, his voice uncharacteristically soft. "You fought for her, even when it cost you everything. And somehow, you made me believe again." Sarah, having navigated unimaginable hardships and witnessed Ethan's hidden vulnerabilities, his quiet strength, his surprising protectiveness, and now his raw honesty, chose to look beyond their difficult beginnings, beyond the humiliation of that night at the club. She acknowledged the genuine care and protection he'd offered, the silent battles he fought by her side. The bond forged in shared adversity, forged in desperation, was now something unexpected and real. The video concludes with Emily's condition steadily improving. Her laughter, once a faint memory, now filled the halls of their small home, a testament to Sarah's unwavering fight and the life-saving efficacy of Serenity. Sarah, her heart full, looked at her sister, vibrant and playing, finally free from the shadow of illness. She decided to focus on the future, a future dedicated to Emily's full recovery, to pursuing justice for those like Thorne's victims, and to a life where genuine connection, born from trials, took precedence over past hurts and societal expectations. The camera lingered on a serene shot of Emily, vibrant and playing, with Sarah by her side, a quiet understanding passing between them, hinting at a future where healing extended beyond the physical, touching their very souls. This story reminds us that even in the darkest valleys, hope can bloom from the most unexpected places. It's a testament to the power of unwavering love, the courage to fight for what's right, and the beautiful, messy ways human connection can emerge from shared adversity. It's about finding serenity not just in a drug, but in the strength of the human heart and the profound resilience of the human spirit. If this story resonated with you, and you believe in the power of hope and connection, subscribe to our channel for more stories that explore the incredible resilience of the human spirit. And let us know in the comments below, what's one challenge you've faced that ultimately led to an unexpected connection or a profound realization?